Hi everyone, it's Anne here. Aria is behind the camera playing Candy Crush.
Candy Crush!
Yeah, today we'll talk about the topic of being from a shopaholic to a minimalist. So that's two extremes. As I've said in my past video, it will be uploaded soon, I think.
Say what video?
Yeah, what video? Living in a tiny home, my experience, pros and cons. Yeah, as I've said in that video, I do have a background with a simple life, living in my father's tiny house. So my mother and my sisters lived there, and we had a simple lifestyle. And with my mother's side, I mean, the house was simple. My mother had a job, so we did go shop and stuff. But my father's side, which was much more simpler, their lifestyles. With my mother's side, I had my grandparents who had money. They had big houses and farms and lands. So when I was little, I would experience both. I would experience a simple life, and from time to time we will see my grandparents, and I would experience the other side. So when I look back now, I do remember that I was, as a child, I loved to save money, but then if somebody would borrow it, then I would think, oh, why save money? But then I would go back and save money and then spend it, and yeah. So I did have the discipline to save money, but then I would had the urge to buy, but it was not so serious because I didn't have a job. So only if I had saved my allowance, then yeah, then I would spend. And then when I was 17, I went to Sweden. And when you are under 18 or 21, when you are below 21 in Sweden at that time, you will get an allowance from the government. So I did have some money, and when I started studying, I got some student loans and also an allowance from the government. So I did have a monthly pay. And especially when I got a job, then I started to spend more and more, and even more than I could afford. So I would be buying stuff from the TV shop. So it's, you call and then they would send you stuff. Like we bought a lot of gym machines, like a spinning bike and other machines. I don't remember how many. I think about 4, and I have given all of them because we would transfer to another apartment and it would be too heavy for me. And we also bought electric supplies. I remember one vacuum cleaner. It was a very fancy vacuum cleaner. It cost me, I think, 2,000 or 3,000 Swedish crowns, and at that time that was so costly. That vacuum cleaner, it would not only suck the dust but also water, and it was what do you call that? It will wash your carpet. What do you call that?
Carpet cleaner?
Yeah, like a carpet cleaner with steam cleaner. So yeah, that was so fancy. And I would also buy fancy casseroles. But at the end, I would end up giving them because I wasn't using them, because I did not really need them, but only because I saw it on TV and I said, oh, I need that, I need that, I need that. So it was a created need, not really a need, but more of a want. But in between this time of spending, I would feel guilty of spending too much. Maybe that's my experience of being frugal from my father's side. And especially when I had to call my mom and ask for money because there was no more money. when I would experience that, I would feel guilty, and then I would be frugal because I have the experience of being frugal. Then it was easy for me to go back and forth. But then I would forget, then I would save money, and then I would go back to spending money. Go back and shop in malls and shop with a TV shop. When I look back now, I'm just so grateful that I did not ever apply for credit cards. I did not have the urge to apply for credit cards. For me, that's too extravagant. Maybe because I was thinking back when I was in the Philippines, that would not be possible for me. But in Sweden, but also when we moved to the Philippines in 2007, everyone is offered with credit cards, and I would get some offers, and it was the same as in Sweden. As soon as you get a job, then credit cards will just pop in your post box with your name on it. And yeah, but I didn't. But what helped me a lot with the breaking of the cycle of being frugal and then spending too much, what really helped me was the crisis, the economic crisis, which started in 2007. It was really a wake-up call for me. We moved to the Philippines in 2007, and up to 2009 we were there, and my mother had to send us money, and for me, I did not feel so comfortable. It did not feel good to be fully independent on her, because when I was living in Sweden, I would have my allowance or my student loans or my loan, or not loan, my salary. So I applied for student loans just to feel independent, but now I know it's not good to have student loans. So finally in 2009 we moved to Denmark, and I became unemployed until 3 to 4 years. It forced me to become very frugal. We still lived with my mother, and I started thinking how I could improve my life. Yeah, I was thinking of how we could save money, and at that time I did not want to apply for a security check from the social office. I just wanted to save money, the money we were getting from my mom. She was the one working. And then I was searching in Google and YouTube how to save money. And then I started to think of switching to a more plant-based diet, because I knew, even from the Philippines, that it's very cheap when you're eating rice, beans, fruits and vegetables, especially if you're not looking for fresh ones. In the Philippines, it's cheap to buy fruits and vegetables, but here in Scandinavia it's a lot more expensive to buy fresh ones. So then in 2011 we became vegans. That's also a part of being wanting to save, and because when you're vegan, if you're not eating a lot of fake meats, then it's so cheap. So in 2011 we stumbled upon a minimalistic and frugal life in YouTube. We saw a lot of tiny houses and minimalistic, frugal lifestyle. And this is when I would really this is when I thought, oh, now I can succeed on living a more simple and less stressful life. But also my experience of wanting to move to another place, and yeah, save money so we could move to another apartment and be more independent. So it really, everything really helped me, and not go back and forth with this spending too much and being frugal. So I would say that my ultimate goal is being frugal, because when you're a minimalist, then you still buy things, but you only buy things that are durable and efficient. So, but I think it's better to be frugal, because when you're frugal, then you would just really buy things that you need. That's the same with minimalist, but I think it's more with the frugal thing. But I guess you would reach that goal too. And I'm just thinking of those of you who are thinking of being a more minimalist, that you should know that you will meet people. For example, me, I've met some Filipinos or people, especially people who have experienced financial problems. They will not understand why I chose a more simple life and not continue spending a lot like before. Some had questioned me, why live this lifestyle, and some have said, why live a miserable life, especially when we were looking for a tiny home. I experienced one lady, she was in the office, the apartment housing office, and she said that the apartment we're looking for, a tiny apartment of 39 square meters, is only comfortable for one person. And she laughed at me when I said both I and my daughter will live there. She laughed at me, but when I explained that I want to save money, then it was okay. But you will meet people who will question you why you will choose to live in a tiny home, or why why are you saving that much, or why are you not buying new clothes, or why not so often, and like that. But it only mirrors their lives, because they are still continuing with spending a lot. So it's a shock for them to meet you now that you have changed. So you just have to stick to your plans. Yeah, just be prepared that you would face some judgment from family and friends. But remember this, at the end of the day, it's you that's going to pay for the bills, and others, or they are still paying 2 cars, they're paying high insurance, big mortgages, big loans and credit cards, and you should know that these expenses stresses them a lot. So for me, this is a better lifestyle. This is a match for us. It's a better life, I think. I don't have to think, I don't have to stay awake and think, oh, how would I pay for the bills the next month. So I hope this will help other people who have experienced being a shopaholic and want to change lifestyle. It's a process. It can take up to many years. So don't be so hard on yourself if you can't be a minimalist or a frugal right away. It's a long process, especially because most of the people around you, they don't have that goal to be a minimalist or live a simple life, because they might say it's a poor life and something like that. But it's still you going to live your life. So just focus on your goals, and yeah, you can write post-its or notes so you don't forget, and then you can write a diary or in your calendar what you want to achieve. And you can also think of baby steps. For example, that you will limit the times you will shop or grocery, maybe just once a week instead of twice, or before we would shop 3-4 times a week, and then I discovered that you buy more. So just shop once a week, just baby steps. Yeah, and you will save a lot. The important thing is just to follow the steps you have you have written out for yourself. So, and then continue with another step when you're comfortable with the first step. Yeah, so experience is best. So please write in the comments below if you have some experience similar to us, and we love reading your comments, and maybe it can help others as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.